What it do, snackers, snackettes, and snack X's. It's your boy Gage. I'm here with Sin. Jokes made it to the building.
Yes,
We
sir.
have a special guest tonight. Mr. Adam Butler is joining us. You are now tuned in to Loading Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and we talk about things in pop culture. And today, again, as you can see, we have a very special guest. So we're going to be chatting with Adam about all of what he has going on, because Adam is a very, very busy guy. Super busy guy. Cozy, though. Cozy busy. You know what I'm saying? Fireplace and candles, you know what I mean, in the background. Cozy busy. Jokes.
Yo.
You got a job to do.
Yo.
Jokes will get the Beacons link up there for you. So you can follow us across the board. We're making some adjustments and getting ready to like update / relaunch our website, which actually does exist, but I wouldn't recommend going there right now. Yeah, Zayna says I have the exact same video on my TV. See, running that background, Adam.
That thing. Listen,
Yeah.
that thing clutch. Okay.
He over there setting the vibe.
Okay.
And when I turn it up, it crackles. It makes the crackling sound and everything.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
You know.
Fancy,
so,
huh?
all right, so look, I'm gonna tell you what I see. You know what I'm saying? I think the lights might be a little bit too high in that room right now. You might have to bring them lights down a little bit.
Now that's for another,
Yeah.
that's for another show.
For a different show. You know what I'm saying? For a different show.
That's the Adam and Jen show.
Fair. I don't know that we broadcast that one. We gonna, you know what I'm saying? We gonna keep that. Yeah, we're gonna keep that locked up. Sin, you got a job to do.
Yeah, so let's shout out our top tier patrons. Started with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, Alex Lee, Ellis Mbaye, and Kermit Ferguson. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
All right, now look, I have to address the elephant in the room. That's right, Zay. Got to keep the peace somehow. Got to address the elephant in the room. There is a possibility that next week, when you tune into this show, this hat.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying, it could be. It could be that things are a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, Adam, this is not directed at you in any way.
Okay,
I'm just saying.
This is what we doing.
This is not directed at you at all.
Okay.
This is just, you know what I'm saying? We're just getting it out of the way. You know what I mean? Before somebody either asks about it or mentally prepares themselves to bring it up next week, regardless of what the outcome is. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. Listen, let me tell you something, Adam. I have a story for you.
Let's go.
Cuddy said three-peat. Hey, you know, an interesting thing about the three-peat. Did you know that Pat Riley owns the rights to three-peat?
Makes sense.
No, but okay.
Pat Riley, Byron Scott was the first person to ever say three-peat. That's right, Nana, fly, Eagles fly. And Pat Riley heard him say it and then went and put the copyright and the trademark on it.
Snatched it right up.
Team, when the Bulls did their first three-peat, second three-peat, all those shirts, all those hats, all that's all Pat Riley in the bank. They've talked about how much money Pat Riley stands to make if, in fact, there is a three-peat that happens this weekend. But we're looking to prevent all that, so don't worry about it. The story is, over last weekend, Sin and I went to Big Lick Comic-Con. We just got to talk briefly about our time at Big Lick Comic-Con. It was a great time. Would you agree, Sin?
1000%. Yes.
What a freaking good time.
Yeah.
In an area of Virginia
we should not have been in.
Shouldn't be in.
Everything felt good in the con space. Yeah. But outside of that,
hotel was cool.
Yeah, perfectly fine. Yeah. No, hotel was great.
But I'm gonna tell you what happened that's kind of significant. On the last day, we're walking through the crowd, and Sergeant Slaughter was there. So all the G.I. Joe people, you know what I'm saying, are there. They lining up, right? Walking through the crowd, I got this hat on. It was a dude dressed up as Cobra Commander. Came over to me, fist bumped me, was like, "Go Birds!" And I said, "Did I just get a Go Birds from the Commander, from Cobra Commander? That's crazy. That's kind of crazy."
Oh man,
let me tell you something. Dope. G Rich, Roanoke was fire, bro.
No, it was a complete vibe from beginning to end.
That joint was fire.
Yeah,
highly recommended. Look, they do a big lick closer to us in Dulles, which is cool. We'll be there. As a matter of fact, Zaina, who was just in the chat, is vending there. She got her first table there, which is cool. Y'all come out support, show some love, buy some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Make that table worth the pay. But the vibe is very different. I think because it's like home for the owner of the convention. JD owns the convention, like that's home for him. That's where the comic shop is. So it's like he knows everybody and knows the businesses and knows whatever, and he just makes things happen that, it's a vibey vibe.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. And look, I couldn't say if you're just going, for us, it's a little bit different because we're going in a capacity more as guests and hosts, and some of our access is a little bit different and so forth. So I couldn't necessarily say that if you were just going and making a 4.5 hour or so trip to go down there, it depends on where you are. But like from here where we are, I can't necessarily say that it would be like, you should absolutely make that trip. For us, it was 100% worth the trip.
I can 100% agree with you with that. Yeah. For us and what we do, it was up here. But yes, if you're going to just make the trip to go to a convention, might be a little different. Unless there's guests there you're really looking forward to seeing. So,
which was a lot of people there. There's a lot of guests there.
Yeah.
But we'll save that for later on, for another time. Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk to Adam. Adam, when we got in here and started talking before we went live, you were mentioning that you see us like that we're very busy. And you're right. We are.
Y'all are.
But you, sir, are super busy. What are those podcasts? The Gatekeepers. Scoop News Group.
Yeah.
Like, you're busy.
Yeah.
Sneaks in the City. Let's go through it. What are those podcasts? Explain to everybody what that is, how it works, where it came from, and so forth.
For sure. So thanks, y'all. I really appreciate this. Whenever y'all invite me on, man, it's always an honor. Love y'all, for real. This is the super dope. I had a documentary some years ago called What Are Those? And the premise of that documentary was to explore the art of sneaker culture. So basically all I did was got with a bunch of people in the sneaker industry that I knew, and a couple of my friends as well. And I shot like a 30-minute documentary about sneaker culture. And it was really just kind of like my audience in my mind was people that know nothing about sneakers, not like sneaker heads, right? So I had some success from that. And from there, I was reached out by an organization to come do a short. Y'all remember Instagram TV or IGTV? Y'all remember that? Like, so it's an IGTV show, right? Like a 5-minute little hit. And then from there, Fox Sports in LeVar Arrington, I got a connection with them, and we did the podcast version for about 1.5 years. I shut that down for business reasons. Shouts out to Up on Game and all them, love them, but business reasons. And then decided to bring it back this past summer on my own, independent. So all What Are Those is basically just talking to not only sneakerheads, but interesting people with sneakers being the conversation starter, right?
Okay.
Again, the audience is still people that know nothing about sneakers, or just like maybe you have some interest, but the audience is not like the sneaker head. So I try not to get too far into like some of the like, a lot of sneaker podcasts are really getting into like a lot of the like rumors and sneakers and the gossip. It's a lot of gossip,
Right.
a lot of rumor, a lot of beefs. It's weird in sneaker culture, and that is in any culture, right? Like you would think,
Yeah.
but like real life, like people upset about this and upset. I try not to really get into that. One thing I really like to do on that show is bring on other creatives. And again, people that aren't necessarily sneakerheads as well, and then give them their flowers on that show. And I think, I found a little bit of a, not just a niche, but something that makes me happy to just like to kind of like take that opportunity to have that person on the show, talk about their life and really celebrate that person while just talking about sneakers, you know what I mean? So that's the One of Those show. It's a passion project. It's something that I clearly can't stay away from. Obviously, anybody knows me knows I'm a sneakerhead and a hip hop head and all that. I love this stuff. But I just really enjoy talking about this hobby that I have and this way I view sneakers and clothing, which is wearable art. Like that's how I truly see sneakers and fashion. And sneakers for the most part, I really do. I see it as like you're really representing yourself. You're really showing your inner art. When you're wearing this stuff, and I just get intrigued by that, and I like to talk about it. You know what I mean? So that's the One of Those pod. I'm thankful that people picked it back up. I was nervous when I relaunched it, but people were very excited to have it back, and that made me very happy. So I'm happy to do it. New episode is actually going to be launching tomorrow, man. Front Page Aaron. That was a great episode as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome. Where did your love of sneaker culture start?
I love that question, man. I love that question. It's my dad. Straight up. Yeah. So to me, Black culture, I love Black culture. Obviously, I'm a Black man, and I celebrate Black culture. And hip hop is a subculture of Black culture, and sneakers and fashions are subcultures of hip hop culture, right? So my dad, like a lot of people, when your parents, you rode around, you listen to like Luther and Whitney and like, we listen to old records, Aretha Franklin, stuff like that. And we listen to that. But I grew up listening to Public Enemy. I grew up listening to Ice-T. I grew up listening to the Beastie Boys. I grew up listening to Onyx a little later on down the line. My dad really had me like listening. My dad was getting mixtapes in the 80s, like Terminator X mixtapes, bro. Like my pops.
He's a hip hop head.
Yeah, my pops had a Terminator X mixtape with Method Man on it from way back. And
so we're talking like when Method Man was like probably like 15.
He was like like a Terminator X mixtape. So this is how I came up. Like this has always been me. And my dad had a bag full of sneakers, and obviously the rappers had all the sneakers and stuff like that too. But my dad had a bag full of sneakers. He used to hoop. He didn't really wear them like for fashion so much, but he would hoop all the time. And I remember just going through that bag with my, I was tall. So when my foot got big enough to like fit in his shoes, I was just so pressed to wear those sneakers. And then by then it was pop culture icons like Deion Sanders and name that rapper, the Timberlands, right? The sneakers, all of that stuff. I just really, really wanted to be a part of that. And the moment I was able to get some money cutting some grass or shoveling some snow, I was in there. Yeah, that was it for me. And I've just always been and there's been times when I've had a lot of sneakers. There's been times when I didn't have any because you got to, make life choices or whatever. But I've always just loved sneakers, and my sneaker love comes from my love of hip hop. That's the genesis.
I did that. Yeah, it's interesting to me. I mean, because you're a tall guy, you bald.
Yeah,
it is interesting to me that so much of that love is tied more directly to hip hop than it is even to say sports, right? Because. But then again, a lot of sports and influences in sports, a lot of that still is tied to hip hop, right? At least from an NFL, NBA, boxing standpoint. Yeah. Tied to that same thing. So I is there a place in which I heard you earlier say, that it's a wonderful thing for you to be able to do this podcast about this hobby that you have.
Yeah.
When do we transition out of hobby? When does it stop being a hobby, right, and start being something more, something different than a hobby? Is there a price where in which that happens? Is there an abundance where in which that happens? Is there, you know what I mean? Like, what's the difference? Is there a wife winning where that happens? Where, like,
so are you asking me, is there a time when you stop spending? I slow down spending my money on sneakers?
Honestly, not necessarily.
Okay,
but like
never.
You know, so you know, I guess my real question is like, when does it stop? When do you stop considering something a hobby, or what makes it a hobby versus just being a lifestyle?
Yeah, well, yes, I get you, and it is a lifestyle. It is a culture. I stay away from those words sometimes, and that's just kind of like me having this training myself when I'm talking to people outside of it, right? You know what I mean? The best way to understand it is like it's a hobby, you know what I mean? But it is a culture for those reasons I said, right? Like, so if you just looking at it, just you got a guy with a bunch of tennis shoes, and shouts to my man Paul Spade, he gets his skin crawls when he hears tennis shoes, right? So, you know, the guy with a bunch of tennis shoes, right? Like, okay, great.
If you and B-more, they just straight tennis. That's what they call
it. Right. But again, it's not so much just like, oh, I like the sneaker so much. It's the story behind the sneaker. It's the story behind that album, right? Like right next to me, y'all seen this 100 times in my old studio. The Good Kid, Mad City record I got sitting up. You know what I mean? Like this, all of it relates, right? This hat reminds me of Cube and Dre and all of the, you know what I mean? Like, so like all of it connects. We bonded over hip hop. We met
100%
for our love of hip hop.
100%.
So hip hop is a lifestyle. I'm just really into one piece of the hip hop lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
I could be collecting records, and that could be my lifestyle. I could be a graffiti artist and really be into graffiti, and that would be my part. You know, the thing I love about
one of the pillars.
That pillar, right? For me, it's just the fashion, and the sneakers are just really what really. So it is a lifestyle. It is past hobby. I just use the term hobby so people can connect a little bit more and understand it a bit more. If you just
when they hear that,
yes,
yeah. So Brandon Day was asking in the comments how many pairs you have.
All right, so I got a challenge going on right now.
I just want to say that's a great place for Sneaks in the City.
Yeah, so this will give you somewhat of an idea. I'm not going to say my number, and it's for a reason. And you'll understand why. But I am literally doing a challenge right now called 365 Days of Sneaks. So that should give you a decent. Yeah. Okay.
What day are we on?
We're on day 35. I actually, while we were doing the countdown, I don't know if y'all saw me. I was like fiercely tight. I literally just posted my picture today of what I wore today, and I haven't said this in front of anybody except my wife. The reason why I do it is because it's a silly reason, and then there's a more important reason for me. The silly reason is a lot of times sneakerheads just hoard sneakers, and they become like a museum, and a lot of you got wear this stuff, man. Like wear it. You buy it to wear it, not to sell it and to wear it, right? That's the most silly. So I'm wearing my stuff. Like some of the days I'm wearing like actual beaters, like crap I got in my closet that's just sitting there, right? But another thing is I want to do when it's all said and done, and if I can make it that far, is I want to donate half my collection to charity.
Okay,
that's what I want to do at the end of it. Yeah, because you know I don't got so much space, and also you know if I want to do something that is like this, you know, that could have the opinion of being materialistic. I want to have I want something good to come from it as well. So it's just like motivation for me, just to do it. But to answer my man's question, I can't. You can see why I can't tell you how many I have because I'm doing this challenge. But the goal,
you gotta make it.
Right. The goal is to wear 365 pairs.
Hey, keep up with the challenge, and you'll get your answer.
Pretty much, yeah.
You'll know your answer on December 31st, 2025.
That's a real thing. So really what we're saying is go on Instagram, Follow.
Hit that follow button.
Sneaks
right there.
Sneaks and
Yep.
the city. Oh, wait, it Sneaks and underscore the city.
Yeah, it's like Sex in the City. Yeah, Sneaks and. But if you follow MSR_Adam, that link, I always connect the two pages, so you'll follow it if you follow the easier one. Yeah. But Sneaks and the City, like Sex in the City. Yeah, Sneaks in the City. Yeah,
I get it, man. Like I think that the idea made it clear that you view sneakers as wearable art, and for a long time, man, I didn't wear anything but Timbs. I didn't get into sneakers till probably about a decade ago, give or take. And but then I felt this pressure. When I started buying sneakers or wanting to buy sneakers, I felt this pressure to buy clothes that match, to buy hats. So I had to do everything. Can't just do the shoes. I have it like I could see a pair of shoes and be like, I really like those, but I don't have anything that goes with those. So if I get those,
I gotta get a hat.
now I gotta do everything else. I have to do. I gotta get a hat. Gotta get a shirt. And I don't generally just do basic white, black. I'm a blue jeans kind of guy. Like I wear jeans or whatever all the time. But like, it's it really does in a weird way begin to inform the rest of your wardrobe, and then vice versa. Like as I started getting into hats, like I would see a hat and be like, I really like that color scheme. I don't know what I would wear that with. And so now,
I gotta do the same
thing.
I get a certain piece of clothing. Now I gotta go find the right shoes, or I have the shoes. I gotta find the right shirt or something. I got outfits that are just sitting in there, just waiting. Like as soon as I hit the right vibe, I'm gonna pull this out and I'm gonna hit them with it. Yeah.
Now you in the trap.
You're right. And it, look, and again, like fashion as a whole, it is art, right? It is art. It's an art form.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people who put a lot of time and effort into design and so forth. People go to school for it. Some people just have it, naturally or whatever.
Yeah.
But sneakers is a different kind of beast. It's a different kind of drug. From it's my opinion. I'm sure that somewhere I could go back and look historically, but shoes, I think, are probably more responsible for even the idea and concept of colorways, right? Same shoe, different color pattern, different style. Shoes probably inform that more than anything else. It's not the same thing as having like this jacket is available in red or blue or black,
right,
or green. And that's it.
Right.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about entire color layouts being completely different. Certain parts of it being completely different. Maybe even the laces. And that informing everything else. And a lot of that was born out of sports teams and their colors and needing to kind of inform those things. And I think that pushed sneaker culture to a different level. You know what I mean? By because it's like now you got the other colorway, but also that colorway is limited. And so now that pushes the collector aspect of things, and of course that pushes the price aspect of things. And so you do have people. It still stings me that there's that one dude that like bought that Wu-Tang album, that unreleased Wu-Tang album.
Ron Scully. Yeah.
Bought that joint and just put it away, dog. It's just like, bro.
And
you know what I mean? Like,
so that's my thing with, and this is a much smaller scale, right? But even in sneakers, like there are sneakers that are so rare or so wild, right? That like you had like a couple of people who just kind of hoarded all this stuff. Oh, I'm Fat Joe's homeboy, so I can get all the hookups. Oh, I know this person. And they got to be like gatekeepers in the community. And they got to be like, I have this and you don't. And I'm never going to wear it. I'm going to just sit. So that's why I'm on like, no, there's a couple of things I've worn this year that people are like, what you wore that? I'm like, yeah. You don't want to hold that. So you could try to, and don't get it twisted. I have legit sold sneakers to go on trips. I've sold sneakers to give my wife a gift, like all that stuff, right? Do what you want with your property. You feel me? But I just think that you're making a great point that when you talk about Martin Shkreli in the Wu-Tang album, we feel like that in sneakers where it's like you got this 1 of 30 or this 1 of 100, and it's a little bit of hate because it's like I would have done better with that myself, right? But there is also like it did get ugly, and this is where I think a lot of the bad besides like the stereotypes people think of, like people getting robbed for sneakers and stuff like that, and this is kind of part of it, right? You create this idea of like there's like a pecking order, right? There's like the rich, and then there's I have it, you can't. So now people want to rob and steal for it because it's a coveted item, right? But also just culturally, it's like I have this thing. I may not even really be part of the culture. I may not even really understand why this is important. The Wu-Tang Dunk, right? Speaking of that Wu-Tang album, Wu-Tang Dunk, that just re-released, right? But at the time, it was like coveted, like, oh, the Wu-Tang Dunk. Yeah, it got to the point where a bunch of like, tech bros and investor bros would just buy this stuff up and be like, look at this museum of stuff I have of like black culture, right? And I have them and you don't. And I'm, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's, I think that's where when people look at like sneaker culture and they kind of, look at it and turn their nose up at it because it's viewed as being very materialistic and very show-offy and just like I've got this and you don't. And it's not that. It's not that. It shouldn't be that, at least. You know what I mean? It's of the people. It came from the streets. It came from people taking clothing pieces that were looked down at or looked at as like, athletic wear or whatever, and then jazzing them up. It's, it's Dapper Dan. It's all of that stuff, right? It's
making them important. Yeah.
There you go. You know what I mean? So it's never, to me, it was never supposed to be about, oh, I've got 40,000 pairs in these plastic boxes and I'm licking the bottom of the shoe because it's never been worn. Shout out to Pat Joe. I don't mean to keep hating on him, but these are things that Joe did.
Yeah, but that's crazy.
Yeah.
Because what that signifies is it's new. It's never been touched. Yeah. It's so pure. Yeah. I can lick the bottom of the shoe. And that started a thing. You know what I mean? And so, I feel what you're saying. When you brought up Martin Shkreli, that's the first thing popped in my mind is like, how much will we benefit? There's members of the clan, of the Wu-Tang clan that are like, I don't even know what that album sounds like.
They never heard it. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I will say that, look, you've been on this show a lot of times with us, and you are one of us in more ways than one. Again, we're all hip hop heads, we're music people, but we're geeks about the stuff that we like. So whether it's shoes or whatever, but we're also like, we're comic book geeks, you know what I'm saying, too. We're collectors, right? And I'm sure that in some manner, everybody has some version of collector in them, right? But like, when you collect comics, it used to be like, for me, when I was very young and understood that comics could be collectible, but you don't really know anything, you know what I mean, when you're like 12 or 13 or whatever, right? Like, you're supposed to buy them, and you're supposed to protect them. You don't know what's going to be worth something or how significant something is or isn't, or whatever. And you're buying a comic, bag, and a board, and then at some point somebody teaches you, you should really buy two and like never open one. I mean, and like bag and board and fold it up, put it away, so you have one to read, you actually enjoy the story. You have one that you never touch. And there is some of that bleeds into a culture like what you have with sneaker culture, but they're so expensive that like most people are not going to buy two, so they have a pair to wear, a pair to, you know what I mean, kind of keep somewhere in place as a collector. Again, the point of being a collector at some point is to get rid of that collection. It's to sell it off. It's to wait for it to accrue, get to a point where it's worth something that then it's worth selling because you have it, because it's coveted and nobody else has it. Or not enough other people have it. So I think, again, just that collector bug that kind of ends up being, I think it's a thing that's taught to us. As young as kids, not necessarily about like comics, but like, I don't know, man. Like, if you grew up and you played with G.I. Joes,
Yeah.
you probably couldn't get all of them, but you wanted all of them, right? Like you buy a G.I. Joe or a He-Man or a Transformer or whatever it was, you get that one, you see them all hanging in the store or whatever, and you flip the back when it's got the card on the back. And that dude, who's that dude? Where's that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So looking behind all the joints.
Yeah. They built it in, you know what I mean? And then if you were even worse than that, man, like baseball cards or Pokemon cards or whatever, like you don't even know what you're getting. You buying blind bags. Like
you are.
Hoping you got something good. You got doubles, triples, quadruples of the same joint. Well, now what does that do? It promotes you to go and trade and do stuff with other people or whatever. And so you kind of end up in that same bag. And so I really think a lot of everybody in some manner ends up being a collector, right? Because they're always like, they never would just, it's not rare, but like Barbies that were intended for children, not for collectors.
Yeah.
They will make one-offs that this is the version of this thing, right?
Yeah.
But like they put them out as there's a set. You need Barbie and Ken and Skipper and whatever. Like they put them out as a set, and the idea is to collect them all. Even if you go to McDonald's to get a Happy Meal, you know, come back every week. Every week we change the toy out to a new toy. You trying to get the whole set. Like they really feed that to us.
Yeah.
Very young. And we do it to our own kids. You know what I mean? Very young. You taking them and getting them their little Happy Meals and you know, whatever. I think that collector bug ends up being in us, you know, from Jump Street.
Yeah.
And it kind of but it matures and it becomes other things. And you find something that you enjoy and that you latch onto, and that becomes a part of your personality, like who you are as a person. Right.
Yeah.
And so would you identify as a sneakerhead?
Yeah.
100%.
Yes.
Okay.
100%. 100%.
Is there a fine line between someone who is a sneakerhead and isn't a sneakerhead, but does collect?
Yeah. There are people that are like, I only collect Jordans. And a lot of people like, shouts to Mike Rich, dope YouTuber, dope sneaker YouTuber, about my age. So somebody I watch a lot. I've been watching for a long time. It's weird watching him. Just as a side note, watch his children grow up like by watching him on YouTube. It's really cool. But I don't know how he feels now, but there was a time he was like, don't call me a sneakerhead. I like Jordans. Right.
And that's it.
His whole thing was like, because it was MJ and MJ played in these, and this is what I feel when I wear. So it was all about like Jordan for him and the Jordan collecting. He was famously not into Yeezys and all the stuff that was hot at that time. He was really into just Jordans and certain Nikes. I've noticed his taste has changed some now, but everybody changes. So, but I do see people, and then there are collectors. There are people that are like, I have a shoe that was worn by Patrick Ewing in the, the 96 Eastern Conference Finals, and I collect those shoes. Or I have a pair of shoes and the bottoms of them are crusted and broken up, falling apart, but I collect those, right? Or it's autographed or what have you. Or it's a new release, but
that's different. That's different.
Yeah,
like having something that was actually like worn by someone in a game, and it's signed, autographed, or something like that. Like that's a to tell you, I was real close. I was like, man, I should probably get these. I'm at the Comic-Con over the weekend. All the original voice actors from the Ninja Turtle cartoon was there.
Oh,
and
God.
I've talked to several of them multiple times. We was hanging out with them, like at the hotel and stuff like that. Like our room was directly across from the voice actor who voiced like Leonardo, right? Our hotel room was right across from that. And
I had a trip out.
I'm wearing the the Adidas shell toes Ninja Turtle joints, and I'm like,
you need to give them to sign them.
Sign, bro.
Yeah.
And then for real, again, I'm not that. See, it's weird because it's not really ever that deep for me. But I was there.
We were there.
The moment I was.
I was all for it, but their lines were dumb long.
That's ridiculous.
That's it.
Yeah.
It was like, boy, if you go do that, we ain't doing nothing.
We ain't doing nothing though.
Whole time. So
I mean,
look, it's a person thing, man. I love that. Here's the thing. I guess in the same way that we do this, right? We have a platform where we get to come here and we talk about the things that we just enjoy, the stuff we enjoy doing. We get to talk about the stuff we enjoy arguing about. You know what I mean? Like this, you know, that's what we get to fight about. Yeah. And I love that you have a platform where you can just invite people on and really have the kind of in-depth conversations that really mostly only people who know what you know can have. Yeah. But can be interesting to anybody. Again, your audience is, you know, your targeted audience are people who really aren't sneakerheads, but are you know, have questions about the culture or, you know.
I was at BlurCon last year and I had on the off-white Jordan 2s with the tag on them and all that, right? And it's a conversation starter, right? A lot of people were just like, you got a tag on your shoe. Like, yeah, that's because Virgil did this. Exactly to tell the story. Some people just like, yo, dope sneakers. Like, and then some people's like, oh, I see them off whites, got the 2s, I got the white version of these. You know what I mean? So it's the beautiful thing about it, and I think a lot of sneakerheads feel this way. It's a conversation starter. Either you run into another, I don't know how many people I run into in the street because I got an eye for it, right? I don't know how many people I run to the street. I'm like, yo, I see those, and then it's like, "What's up, brother?" And I you know, not to sound corny, but that little thing, you just never know. Like, yo, nice sneaks, bro. Damn, I was having a terrible day. Now I feel just a little bit better because I got that compliment. You know what I mean? That's so, and then I really do believe in like the mantra. And the guy I had on my show yesterday, he said something I thought was really dope. He talked about how his mom's got him in the sneakers, but they didn't have a lot. But she always wanted them to look good because it gave them pride. And I really do believe in the, you know, the look good, feel good mantra. I believe in that. Like I do. And I think that's actually the little bit of the reverse is actually feel good, look good. You know what I mean? And so I believe that. And I'm a weird guy. I'll tell people like, yo, hey man, I like your jacket. I do that on the street. Like I tell people like all the time. Because it's just, you know, it's just these things are just conversation starters, and that's the real cool part.
That happened to us over the weekend, Adam, with some shoes. We had talked to this, we had talked to this artist or whatever, good person or whatever. And at the after party, her and her boyfriend was there, and he saw my shoes, and he was like, "Dog, like what are those or whatever?" Like that. She's like, "Oh, I know them. They're cool as hell or whatever." Brought him over there. He had on the Jordan, I want to say like the 11s or whatever. Nice. So I got the black and gray ones, yada yada yada. And he was commenting his Ninja Turtle shoes. Like he was a big sneakerhead, and it just like started this whole conversation. And we just, you know, came cool off of it. It was dope.
It's dope. It's dope. I got a commercial going on Fireplace, but yeah,
hey, ads got to be in there somewhere.
There we go. Yeah, I know.
Back to the fire, cool them down and then back to the fire.
But yeah, no, that's the really cool part about it. Is that there's definitely the bonding and the conversation starter.
It's being able to take, you know, a lot of times we have these conversations a lot when we do our being comfortable being a geek, you know, panels, and having something that just identifies you immediately as somebody who's a fan of something that anybody else who also is a fan can identify. And there's an automatic level of comfort that comes with being able to just go up to somebody. You know, the people who literally just walk up to me and ain't seen me from nothing, that are literally just, I'm talking about people screaming at me, "Go Birds!" Like, just like, right?
Yeah, that's real.
But at the same time, like on Saturday when I'm in there and I was wearing a Spider-Man hat, people like, "Yo, dope hat, bro." Like, you know, whatever. Again, it is those things are things that, you know, again, they are wearable art. Yeah, they are wearable conversation starters. They're you know, creature comforts. They make us comfortable because we enjoy them. We know that other people enjoy them, and it feels good to be seen, right? And so a lot of times those things do that for us. So yeah, man, listen. Let's give them the rundown real quick. Look, everybody, make sure you go follow Adam at MSR Adam, MSR _ Adam on Instagram. And from there, you can find everything else. You can find Sneaks in the City. We didn't really get a chance to dig into the gatekeepers. You and Paul are kind of back at it. Originators, you know what I mean? But please go and give all of the stuff that Adam's doing. Please give him a follow. Make sure you're staying in tune, because Adam's a great dude. He's a very long time friend. I did see that there was a question that popped up saying that we didn't get the answer. We were talking.
Let me throw it back up.
Let's see. So Brandon said, has the sneaker culture changed or has it been strained with all the people out there making fakes? Oh,
okay. So I know I'll get quick with this one. Yes, for a while that was a problem. It's still a problem, obviously. But more so a problem for people that were trying to resell and then buy on the resale market. So it was hurting people that wanted to resell, and then people were getting kind of slimy on the resale and getting sloppy, and just selling fakes. And the fakes are so good that you really have to have like a keen eye. And I really believe that we were even getting to the point where, and you'll see like YouTube videos where like, I wish I could I can't grab it, but they'll have the sneaker and they'll be like, all right, they'll bend it and smell it and go, it's fake. And I'm like, you don't know that, but it's just like you get off on being the guy that can tell people. And also, a big part of sneaker culture is being able to sell your stuff back, right? Like, if you got too much, you can go, hey, look, man, I need to dump some of this. Let me make some money off of it and get back good. Back in the and get whole again, right? And a lot of sneaker shop owners will really take advantage of that. Like, nope, that's a fake. That's fake. So I think it did mess it up in that regard. And I don't really care if people wear fake sneakers because I can't tell. Let me be honest with you. I'm not looking at your feet and going, unless they're like egregious. I can't tell.
Obvious, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not a judgment thing for me. I'll be honest, but I do feel really bad whenever somebody goes on one of these platforms and spends resale and then to find out that their sneaker is fake. That's really, really tough. And but some of to wrap it up, these companies have been caught up already. They've been called out. There's a lot of regulations now. And there's a lot of ways to catch whether you got a fake sneaker or not, and a lot of ways to get your money back if you got a fake sneaker from StockX Go, one of the big companies.
Right. They have some ways of protecting you.
Absolutely.
It's a big deal, man.
They had to, yeah.
Look, the stream's been a little choppy, but we gotta try to watch this Fantastic Four teaser. Have you seen it yet, Adam?
I did. First thing this morning.
All right. We about to get into it. Jokes, do me a favor. I'm gonna see if I have pull it up on YouTube and share from there. Okay. Let's see how we do that way because man, we watched the trailer last week.
Yeah.
And the internet
that didn't work out.
Excuse me. No, sir.
Got it.
That joint was like, you need to hold tight. Who's that? What's up, Heather? How are you? Yeah. It was like, you not today, not in here. Those is working on getting that up. Adam, were you already kind of excited about Fantastic Four?
I am. I am excited about Fantastic Four. To bury the lead a bit, I'm very excited about the Marvel slate, and I'm excited about Superman too. But I'm excited about the Marvel slate coming up. Yeah, we can get to that more obviously, but yes.
Yeah. Let's run it.
Welcome to the Baxter Building.
We make a point to do family dinner every week. Sunday at 7 on the dot, no matter what. We're all here.
Herbie, how's that sauce coming? Yeah, I'll be the judge of that. Okay. Is this guy good or what? I want to add a couple cloves of garlic. Not because it's not delicious, I just want to add a little bit of zip, okay?
T-5. Before we went up the first time, you couldn't turn invisible. Ben wasn't a rock. The best pilot in the world right here.
Yeah. Best looking, he means.
And Johnny never caught fire.
Ben has always been a rock. Johnny is Johnny.
Hi.
And I am right here. Whatever life throws at us, we'll face it together.
They really sang that joint. All right. Here's what I'm gonna do. I am going to call on Sin.
Of course you are.
I look because I know that you and I generally feel the same way about the Fantastic Four as a whole. So
Yeah.
I know.
Given the teaser,
Mm-hmm.
haven't seen what you have seen of it.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you right now? What do you think?
In Feige, we trust. I'm trusting that he can make me. No, I'm trusting that he can make me care about him. I liked what I saw from the trailer. I did.
Okay.
But as far as getting on the Fantastic Four bandwagon for myself, he's got a big shoe to fill to get me on the board with him. But I'm excited regardless for the next stage of the MCU. You know, so get back in the movies and stuff like that. So whatever this is, I'm excited for it because it's the next step in where we're going. So I'm looking forward to it because of that in general. But I still don't like the Fantastic Four. So hopefully Feige can change that within the MCU. We'll see.
Jokes, what are your thoughts?
I like the trailer. Like, I think it looks okay. They gave us a snippet of what we think is going to be the big bad in the movie. I feel like maybe we'll get a little swerve, but overall, yeah. Well, we know that's probably a little bit of a swerve, but who knows? But right now, I feel okay about the movie. I think Sin said it the best though. In Feige we trust. Because I know a lot of people are probably, with this being the third iteration of the Fantastic Four, is seeing how, like, I think it really is making people want to care about the Fantastic Four. Because, you know, it would be real bad to try to get this next part of the MCU going, and this ends up falling flat. Especially with them possibly being, you know, very critical to what could be going forward on there. But for me right now, I'm in a good place.
Cuddy said she might have been a Hobbs and Shaw, but family doesn't belong in the MCU. The trailer, and if it doesn't get better, I'm waiting till it drops on Disney Plus. I mean, you know what, Cuddy?
I don't know if that's gonna be waiting for Disney Plus.
I'm gonna tell you. All right, look. As far as she's concerned, if you watch so they did like this whole countdown thing where they brought them out, and you know, that dress was it. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Word.
You can watch that, Cuddy. Adam, where are you on this? What do you think?
No, I agree with sending jokes. I think this is in Feige we trust. Because when you asked me, was I excited about the film? I am, because I like when Marvel gets their properties, but that does not mean I'm like a big Fantastic Four. I don't know if there are many huge Fantastic Four like fans out there. You know what I mean? That's you know, been proven by what's happened with the books over the years and things like that. But I genuinely like when Marvel gets their properties back. And I like when they get the little things right. And just from that trailer, the way Ben Grimm looks, Sue Storm in the actual light reflection in her powers, not just, you know what I mean? Like, it's just little things in there that I know is going to look good. And then I am excited for the slate because I'm excited to see where Marvel goes moving forward. It feels like they're starting to wrap up. Doesn't feel like they are starting to wrap up the multiverse saga. And I'm curious to see where that ends. And I'm very, very curious to see the next thing, which, you know, I won't say because y'all know I'm a mutant guy, but just in general, I'm curious to see how the multiverse saga wraps up. And this feels like we're getting towards the end of that, which is pretty cool.
I am right now relatively indifferent. I think I feel the same way right now as I did when they first announced it, and I found out that it was taking place in this, like in the 60s.
Yeah.
All right. Well, clearly this is a different universe, right, or something along those lines.
Yeah, that's been documented.
So
that's true.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the most part it looks good. I think what I've seen of, and a lot could change between now and when the movie releases or whatever, but
right.
I think Ben Grimm looks good. I think he looks the most comic accurate to those original drawings that he's ever looked. I think there's something a little bit funky going on with like the way his mouth moves when he talks or whatever, and it not quite looking like he's saying what the words are that are coming out of his face. But those are very nitpicky things that like aren't necessarily about whether or not I'm going to enjoy the film. I think if they nail the family aspect of it, I think if they nail the humanity aspect of them, right? And if they successfully find a smart way to tie everything in, like you got Dr. Doom, we know he's coming back. He's definitely a Fantastic Four villain.
Yeah.
You have Galactus. You get an opportunity to do him the right way instead of him being a cloud.
Right.
Does that mean so? You know, we know Silver Surfer is in it.
Yeah. But a
A
variant.
woman.
Yeah.
It's a variant, right?
Yeah.
Of Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
A variant. This is a variant Galactus, right? It's a female Galactus.
Variant Fantastic.
So it's a variant Fantastic Four. So you see Reed kind of working on math, and that's probably something multiversal.
Yeah.
There are things that I can see already just in this teaser that make it easy for me to start kind of tying things together, and you know, my Marvel brain starts checking boxes. We're going, all right.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see it, just because I'm not sure if I'm going to be more or less excited for it once we get past Captain America next week, which is next week. You know what I mean? Next week. Upon us. It's Black History Month, so Marvel has to put out a black character movie. It's kind of, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of what it is these days.
Yeah.
I
hadn't thought of that.
I don't know if that's as okay as it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not. Yeah, we're gonna see. I mean, look, I think that there's something to it. I think it's smart. I do. I do wonder if we're gonna come out to support it.
Captain America.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? Today I saw for the first time, I saw an advertisement on Instagram with Anthony Mackie going, tickets are available now. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Like, I want you to finish your point. I'm sorry. I mean, jump in. I don't think that the early numbers are where they want it to be. And I'll be honest, I kind of think that makes sense. That doesn't mean it's not going to be good. That doesn't mean I don't think it's going to be good. I think a lot of people are very unsure of what to expect.
Yep.
I think this is really the first film that they're doing where people are like, I don't really know what's going on right now.
The second, if I may.
Okay. Eternals.
The Marvels. But I don't think it will bomb like the Marvels. But I do think it could suffer from the same problem that some of the audience had with the Marvels, which is
all women.
She.
And that,
I don't know. I didn't watch Miss Marvel. I didn't watch. Maybe I watched WandaVision, but that was years ago. I don't know who Monica Rambeau is. I don't. You know what I mean? I think it could suffer from that. Because
I agree with you. I just don't think it would be anything near as bad because everybody who not everybody, but all the main characters have been in a movie in some way. You know what I mean?
It won't bomb. It won't bomb like the Marvels. The Marvels bomb for a couple of reasons. We won't. That's not the conversation we're having.
Yeah.
But I just want to add that if it does suffer from that, it's just if it does suffer a bit, it'll be because that's not Chris Evans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and Captain America's black now, so it'll take a hit because of that.
Who's Isaiah Bradley and who's, you know what I mean? That's all. That's all.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it matters as much what the reason is why it suffers, if it suffers, and if it doesn't do well. You know what I mean? I do think I'm gonna be very, very clear about this. part of the reason why I'm excited about seeing Captain America is just because I want to see how it's tied to the Thunderbolts. Like, I'm actually more excited about the Thunderbolts than I am about the Captain America movie. But I also do think that's because even though I know Sam Wilson was Captain America in the comics, I was never a Captain America fan to begin with. I didn't become a Captain America fan at all until the movie came out.
Yep.
Like a lot
Same
of
here.
people,
Yep.
for real. The Avengers were second string, D tier.
Yeah.
You know, this is what we have to work with, so let's make some movies out of it, characters.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like, we're not gonna pretend that they didn't pull it off. They pulled it off, right?
Yeah.
I knew who the characters were, but I never collected Captain America comic books.
Same.
I never read.
Same.
I have read Avengers comic books.
Yeah.
I
but
never
they-
collected Avengers comic books.
Yeah.
I was a mutant guy. Like you, I was
Yeah.
X-Men, X-Factor, X-Force.
And the reason why
Excalibur.
you probably read those Avenger books because it was tied to something going on with mutants or something like that,
Yeah.
crossovers or things of that nature.
100%.
Or the Spider-Man.
Or, well,
Yeah.
or because they had an Avengers beat 'em up in the arcade.
Yep. That was one of the go-tos.
Vision,
Hawkeye,
and, yeah,
Iron Man, and Cap.
Hawkeye.
Yeah. And if you play Marvel
No, it's
versus
cool.
Capcom, you could fight with like War Machine and
Yeah, so like they really did kind of like, all right, let's put some characters in front of people or whatever. The Thunderbolts, on the other hand, you know, it still has that asterisk on the end of the name. And I actually really think that they're gonna turn them into the Dark Avengers. I think they're gonna be Doom's Avengers, which were the Dark Avengers, which is why I think they have that asterisk there. And having announced Doom, having a Red Hulk, like all of the pieces of Doom and a Dark Avengers are really starting to all fall in line. And it didn't really dawn on me until I was like, dog, why do they keep? It's like they say the Thunderbolts, they show the name, and then they add the asterisk after the
They
fact.
make sure you know that asterisk is there. Put the whole name up, and then it comes up at the very end, and it makes that sound to put the like. Listen, that
Like a
asterisk is there for a
like-
reason.
Yeah.
The after credits will tie into that with the asterisk.
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And whether or not that is a thing that is tied to Thunderbolt Ross and then being the Thunderbolts, right? Because the idea of like who is funding them, who's putting the team together, you know, Allegra is, you know, dealing with it or whatever, but like who's funding her and who is she getting, you know, who is she being told what to do? And it's like Doom probably in the background pulling them strings somewhere or whatever. And if that's the case, you know, that Dark Avengers joint's probably happening. So like,
that's why I say I'm excited for the whole slate. Like I like that, you know, I like that there seems to be a story going forward, even if it's the end of the story. Captain America doesn't have to. I don't really care what Captain America makes. I think it'll make decent money. It's tracking. Last I saw was tracking like 95 or something like that. Maybe it'll make less than that. You know, it's fine. But if that story ties into Thunderbolts, and then Thunderbolts maybe doesn't tie into Fantastic Four, but what goes on in Thunderbolts makes sense for Fantastic Four, or Fantastic Four takes you into Doomsday and all of that stuff. That's what I like, and that's how I like my Marvel. You know what I mean? I like are tying together it for the movies, and that's why I thought it was smart for them to go, let's take a year off, let's just put out Deadpool and Wolverine, have some fun with that. And then after that, let's get back to making these stories intertwine and doing and not on television. And not on television.
Yeah. Not a Disney Plus show.
Right.
Do you think there is something about the teaser that makes me feel like Fantastic Four actually takes place in the Fox universe? Like this MCU movie is a Fantastic Four film that takes place in the Fox universe. That the fact that they didn't actually get rid of the Fox universe at the end of Deadpool and Wolverine, that they're like, nope, timeline is its own thing now and it still exists, and they didn't like do the whole the Battle World thing and pull it all together and make it all one universe. There's a part of me that thinks that Reed Richards working on it and trying to figure out how to save the world and the whole Galactus thing or whatever, that whatever he comes up with is something that is going to be multiversal and him being able to jump.
Definitely.
From
Or-
the
Yeah, for sure.
If you know, in the comics, you know, they did the whole, and again, they were doing the whole Kang thing.
Yeah.
And there was the Council of Kangs, and they showed that. But there's a Council of Reed Richards.
I was gonna say that,
and he did the multiversal thing and pulled that into the Council of Reed Richards.
Yeah.
And Kang is a descendant of Reed Richards.
Yes.
He is a far-flung future descendant of Reed Richards.
Yeah.
So they certainly could find a way to kind of tie all of that together and make it, you know what I'm saying, and whatever else.
To bring back Kang. It's like they end up doing that and tying Kang back in. Like,
I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening. I'll keep it a buck. I think that'll be a bad move. I think if they do something with Kang, it probably shouldn't be Jonathan Majors. I think they just
his body. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
just other, you know, again, always have to look like him kind of thing. They already did it with Spider-Man. There's 3 different Peter Parkers that don't look nothing alike.
There's 4 different.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And Deadpool's.
Right.
There's a Johnny Storm that looks exactly like Captain America. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and there's a Dr. Doom that looks like Iron Man.
and that's a thing, right? Yeah. So like the idea that this could be a Doom that comes from this universe that is going to see that there's a dead version of him. That there's somebody else who was as smart as he was, or was on that path, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, and has his face, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, could actually be a catalyst for it. They could make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? That's the stuff that excites me. It's not always necessarily what they're doing, it's what they could do.
What they could do.
You know what I mean? They just like, ooh.
You know what though? That's not to take us off the rails. I just want to say, like, that is what I think has hurt Marvel over the years, is that they show something and then we start going, man, that's probably going to be, I know I did that. Y'all had me on to talk about the Eternals, and I had all sorts of theories about the Eternals. None of it was true. Okay, like none of it.
That's the best part though, when you be trying to.
Yeah, for me it's fun, but I also think like people get kind of disappoint them. I'm not saying this is what you're doing, Gage, but like some people disappoint themselves when they don't.
100%.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And I don't know what you could do about this. Nothing Marvel could do about that. But it's just an interesting thing to me. You know, the theory.
I mean, look, the reality of it is only the people like us who are super duper comic book nerd heads do that. Because the people who just fell in love with it when they went to the movie and started watching it, they don't know. They're not thinking about none of that stuff, right? It really is just us doing it. The majority of the money they make don't come from us.
Hey, bro, I'll never. You know what I learned that? But I really learned that I saw Avengers Infinity War. And you know, Black Panther doesn't show up till like almost the middle of the movie, right? And the theater's packed. And I heard Captain America showed up, you know, that scene when he saves Wanda and Vision. I heard a woman next to me around me go, who is that? But when they heard the theater went crazy because they were going to see Black Panther 2 in their mind. They weren't going to see this movie with Black Panther. So to your point about Anthony Mackie, I do think some people are going to go because there's a Black Captain America. I do think some people will do that. I've heard some people kind of mention like, I gotta go support that because there's a Black Captain America. I don't think it'll be Black Panther level, right? But I think
there's a lot of people that have no idea that my man ever actually really took on the mantle of Black, like
I do think that. Yeah.
What happened at the end of the movie where he was given the shield? It was kind of just like symbolic.
Yeah,
they didn't watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
and so like people are like, what do you mean? Captain America? That don't make no sense.
And that's why I think it was smart. I'm sorry. That's why I think it was smart to take you know, it's in the first couple of trailers. They did it for 2 reasons. One was for political reasons, like real life political reasons. But another reason, I think, in the beginning, remember the early trailer showed a lot of Isaiah Bradley. Like it was like they were showing you the plot of him trying to, you know, assassinate Thunderbolt Ross. I think it was smart to take that out of the trailers and really focus in on Red Hawk, Captain America, you know what I mean, and really focus for the general audience, because if you didn't watch Falcon Winter Soldier, that Isaiah Bradley thing means nothing to you, like nothing.
100%. But also, only recently have I noticed that they've really been like talking about adamantium at all. The majority of people that I talk to about it have no idea that really technically the plot of the movie is that they are fighting over adamantium, which is based on the celestial that is in the water that they're finally, you know what I mean?
Like, discussing,
like this.
Yeah.
This is how adamantium comes into the MCU.
Right.
And somewhere it should click for people. Adamantium.
Yeah.
Wolverine.
What are we doing?
Yeah, that's that Wolverine.
Especially,
you know what I mean?
Off Deadpool Wolverine, like you just the biggest movie. You know what I mean? Like, you would need to do that a little bit more. Yeah, I agree.
Correct. Yeah. So again, it's interesting for the people who know. For the ones who don't, you know, kind of lost in the sauce. There's one other thing I want to touch on before we get out of here. We've talked about it a little bit before, and actually, we kind of got a little bit of a question. We don't get too deep into politics on this show, but I saw a post about the imposed tariffs and then the paused tariffs and so forth, and you know how they're gonna affect video games and so forth. And we've talked about it before. I've gone into like trying to explain to people like how tariffs really work and you know what it does. And you know, I saw some interesting things. Like I saw people talking about, well, look, you know, the tariffs hit, it could be really bad news. You know, the Switch 2 is getting ready to come out. So what does that do to the price? And we talked about, you know, the Switch 2 launch and being like, well, what's the price point you think it's really going to be? You know what I mean? And we think $400, $500, right? And the reality of it is, Nintendo actually moved a lot of what their manufacturing stuff, like half of their manufacturing, they moved to like Vietnam.
Okay.
Meaning that more than likely for the Switch, for whatever will come to the US, we may not see it affected by tariffs at all.
Yeah.
Because they will probably use the manufacturing they have in Vietnam to ship to the US, and will use the manufacturing that they have in China to ship elsewhere. Right? It's probably what that really means, right? To kind of clarify that for people. But the imposed tax being like a 25% tax on China and goods that come from China would affect everything. Sony doesn't really have that as an option, and really technically neither does Microsoft, right? Like they didn't do the same thing Nintendo did. And so prices could get real stupid. And if we were to just think, if we were thinking that the Switch might be $400 to make it easy, like $400, a 25% markup on that is another $100, right? Take something that should be $4 and make it $5. But like as a retailer, as a seller who's putting out a product to consumers, if you are eating that cost on your end, when you pass it on to the consumer, you're generally not going to pass it on exactly as it is. So if they're seeing a 25% increase in their costs, they're probably going to charge like another 30%, 35% to the consumer. It's not going to be just a flat, oh, well, because they're not looking to necessarily make the same money, right? We already got to put the price up. So we might as well just go up, you know what I'm saying, another $10, you know, $25, whatever it is, and pass that on. What I will say is, assuming that this actually ends up going through the way it seems like it might go through, we've had a lot of talks about what the console space looks like, what Nintendo's doing and how they kind of play their own thing, what Sony's doing, what Microsoft is doing. The PlayStation 5 Pro is how much, jokes? $700? Right?
$699. So
a 25% markup on that is like another $125, right? So you're $800, $850 for a PlayStation 5 Pro. That's like going forward. Like if they continue to manufacture and run them just for the 5 Pro. So when we start talking PlayStation 6, right? And we talked about the idea that the PlayStation 6 might be 800. We were saying that before this was a thing.
Yeah.
If you can imagine what tariffs might look like on that, what that would mean for that, it might, if you're unfamiliar, there's this weird kind of alternate universe. We talk about the multiverse. There's this weird alternate universe, right? Where Sega beat the brakes off Nintendo. I don't know if you're familiar with this. In Brazil, in South America,
Oh yes.
they got Sega. They don't even. The tariffs in South America and in Brazil were so high that Nintendo pulled out. And Sega continued to manufacture there because Sega had plants there. They used other companies to manufacture basically Genesises and Master Systems that were made by another company, but they were basically all the same guts. And so they continued to produce and dominate there. And so honestly, in a lot of ways, it's probably part of what kept them going for as long as they were, even outside of there.
Yeah.
But there's like this alternate history there where because of what the tariffs were and them being so high there, that Nintendo just pulled out altogether and was like, yeah, we're not doing that. Sega kept doing it because they could afford to do it.
Yeah.
Right now we're in a space where we're talking about the idea of Microsoft maybe not even doing another console. But whatever they do, you guys, no matter what they do, y'all are buying it. That's the conversation we had last week. But if it gets so bad that the prices are so high on consoles, right now, Microsoft is the only one of the three that is positioned themselves to be like, well, we just really need you to buy a controller.
Yeah.
You can play on
Yeah.
play it on your TV, play it on your phone, play it on your laptop, right? It positioned all of these other manufacturers. If you start looking again at like Asus with the ROG Ally, if you start looking at like Nvidia, if you start looking at like these companies that might be manufacturing here, people being able to get parts and pieces and stuff like that from here and build PCs and stuff like that, it could completely change what that landscape looks like. And it actually puts Microsoft with what they're doing with Xbox and cloud gaming and trying to kind of push that and saying this is an Xbox, this is an Xbox, this is an Xbox. You don't necessarily need to purchase the physical box.
Yeah. They're in a way better position going forward with whatever happens. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy to really think about it. And again, it could still be that in the UK or whatever, where the tariffs don't exist or whatever, that they're selling, because it's already more expensive there anyway. But it could be that they continue to dominate there, but it could be a very different landscape here for sure. It's just some kind of food for thought. Like, the difference in the different these can make. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what that means to that landscape and the way we purchase and what we purchase and what it costs us is changing so quickly that like there's no way to know. The dominance that Nintendo and Sony have right now over a company like Microsoft in terms of the gaming landscape could literally shift like that because it's going to become too unaffordable for most people. You know what I mean? People who was PlayStation 3, 4, or 5 might not be able to afford PlayStation 6.
Very true.
Might not be able to afford Switch 2.
Very
you know
true.
What I'm saying? About it, but I got a TV already, and my TV.
All I do is log in. Yep. Connect the Bluetooth.
Adam, you got Netflix,
huh?
Adam, you got Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever watch on your phone?
Sometimes, yeah. On the plane.
They got games, right?
What, Netflix got games?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a gamer, so I did not know that. I did not know that at all. No.
If you boot up the Netflix app, when you boot it up and book your account, you scroll up. It's just a bunch of games you can just tap and you can play, and you get to play them for free because you have Netflix. Netflix is buying up game studios like it's nothing.
I didn't know that.
Netflix is on your TV, it's on your Xbox, it's on your phone, it's on your laptop. They own all these game studios. Yeah. The landscape could be so different.
Yeah.
because of where they already are. They don't have consoles. They don't have whatever. They're just doing the mobile thing or whatever and changing that landscape up. It could get real crazy.
It could. That's really interesting. That's really interesting. Wow.
It's a very, you know, it could be a very different landscape. Here's what we got to do. We got to get out of here. But first, we got to thank Adam for coming and hanging out with us. So
salute, bro. Salute.
Yeah,
man. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much for spending the time here with us. Always great to talk to you about anything, bro. Really, but you know, great to hear about what you're doing. So please, everybody, make sure you go give Adam a follow. Check out his shows, promote, and you know, hit the like buttons and all that. Support, please. Jokes, what's going on in wrestling? Because Royal Rumble just happened. No spoilers. Sin, you saw it though. You good now, right?
Sin finally watched it, so
I'm good.
He's good. He got.
All right.
Hey, Sin, you gotta get the orangey shirt now. You gonna have a whole. Hey, listen. Before I get. Hey, listen. Oh, damn. Jay Uso turned into John Cena with the shirts now, so you're gonna have a color for every day of the week.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just wrapped up the Royal Rumble, so we're gonna have a conversation about that for the finisher. We knew one thing was gonna happen for the Rumble, not necessarily the other thing. So definitely we're gonna have a little bit of conversation with that on the finisher podcast. Other than that, right now AEW is next month for their pay-per-view. They don't have anything.
Just next weekend. Mm-hmm. Grand Slam is next weekend. It's not even
really a pay-per-view anymore. So it's like it's not even. That's a whole other conversation we gotta have about that.
Yeah.
All right, Sam, what's going on with the anime chat?
Me and Noah had to hold it down this week for anime chat. Gabby is in the middle of moving places, so we definitely talked about our top 3 episodes of the week. We had a really strong week as far as episodes this week. This following week is going to be even better. We do get into some news, have some interesting topics there, and I had a topic lined up, but we fell into a passionate debate when it comes to how we view fillers. That ended up taking over our topic segment. But it was a really good time, so look forward to that dropping 10 a.m. on Thursday morning. And as you know, 9:30 we'll be in the Discord for Thriller Park. So yes.
Dig it. So we'll be back next week. I'm still up in the air about Katsucon on next weekend, but definitely we're gonna go see Captain America next week. So look for Spoiler Boys on Captain America: Brave New World to come briefly after that. Pardon me.
NXT.
We still have content coming out from this past weekend at Big Lick. We had a great panel with Ming Chen sitting with us doing Being Comfortable Geek. Had some great conversations. So there's a couple of interviews and some snack bites and stuff like that that are coming. Just some fun stuff, you know, to look for. So keep your eyes peeled to the Instagram and the YouTube and the Blue Sky, because we don't really tweet. We don't do the X thing. But keep your eyes open for that. Outside of that, the movie club movie of the month is The January Man. I know we're a month late, but that's the name of the movie, and it's February.
January Man.
The movie is the January Man. So movie of the month is January. So last Monday of the month we'll be having that discussion, 8:00 live. So jump in, make sure you check that out, give it a watch, and then join us for the discussion at the end of the month. We're going to continue to highlight Black creators throughout this month. We have some really cool guests lined up. So again, appreciate y'all being here with us on a Tuesday evening. You could be doing any number of things. You could be, I don't know, betting on the Eagles game or something. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. You could be betting on the Eagles game or something. And instead of that. All right, we're gonna get out of here. Do me a favor, make sure you live your bloopers and then fix it in post. We're out. Toodles and loose.